So now I want to introduce you to another person who has just joined us, David Angel, and he will provide you a little bit more information as to Rank My Vote Florida and the RCV initiatives that they are working on, particularly in close to me would be Clearwater and Sarasota. So thank you, David, for joining us. David, do you hear us? Where's David? There he is. Okay, he's muted. So, David.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have been like, screaming almost like, hello, can anyone hear me for a little while to try to jump in. So I didn't know if I was muted or what was going on, but I'm glad I'm finally connecting.
Yeah.
All right. So hello, I'm David Angel. I am the general counsel for Rank My Vote Florida. Is it Elise moderating?
Yes, it is.
All right, great. Hi, thank you, Elise. So like Elise said, Rank My Vote Florida is focusing on bringing ranked choice voting to municipalities. I just want to clear up a couple of things that I think may not have been clear. We're not focusing on municipalities because we have some kind of special attachment to municipalities. We're focusing on municipalities because under our reading of the law, that's the only place that they're legal in Florida, other than Miami-Dade County and Duval County for various reasons. And we fully support what the ballot initiative would accomplish, which would be to open up ranked choice voting for all other county, state, and federal elections. The reason that we're not the same organization as Florida Free and Fair Elections is because Florida Free and Fair Elections is trying to go the ballot initiative route, but in order to do that, you need a substantial number of signatures, and that's quite expensive. We think the reason tactically we've diverged is we think it's going to be difficult to gather those resources. So we're not, we support their effort, but that's why we're not in one organization and sort of rowing in the same boat. We have had some, recent successes where we were seeing movement in, it's already passed in Sarasota, but we were seeing movement in Clearwater and Gainesville. We actually went before the Sarasota Commission a couple of weeks ago in order to convince them to bring a suit against the state in order to clear up, lingering legal issues that have prevented implementation there for cities. They voted 4-1 in favor of our effort, and then since then it's been just ensnared in local political wrangling, and we have a 2-month delay until we go back before them again to see if they're going to stay the course. As of now, they're going to vote on it tomorrow night, and we're not sure how it's going to go given what's going in Sarasota. But Clearwater had voted to put this on the ballot for March of 2022, and Gainesville was looking to do this in November of 2022. So our theory of the case is that in order to get broad acceptance within Florida, you have to start small because when you ask people to change, it's often difficult. And so using it in cities would be a good way for people to realize, one, this is not some kind of Democratic Party or center, left of center plot, which some Republicans think. This is not too difficult for voters to use. This can actually save money, and it's just a general good government reform that everybody can get on board with. And so that's the reason that we're taking that strategy. So I'm going to take a step back, but I do want to say one thing before I do. I know that somebody on the call mentioned that lots of ballots were getting thrown out, or there are increased errors on the ballots as a result of ranked choice elections. With all due respect, I don't think that that's correct. Every single jurisdiction that is using ranked choice ballots has 99% ballots that are used correctly. Now, there are some instances in which a high number of ballots get exhausted. They run out of rankings, but that's not in the majority. That's not in the majority of races that are being run. So 78% of races have a winner who gets more than 50% of the initial votes that were cast in the election. And then 98% get more than 40%. But the difference between that 78 and 98 is actually more weighted towards the high 40s. Like, even if something's not getting 40%, a lot of the races are getting 46% to 49.9%, something like that. So I think whenever you implement a change, you have to be sensitive to the fact that you don't want it to harm particular groups of voters, whether it's in terms of certain, disadvantaging older voters or voters who have less income and what have you. But I just don't think that ranked choice voting is showing that when you really look at the data. And so I'm happy to speak to that issue more, but I really want to push back on that because I don't believe it's true.
I just have one question. What about any data regarding areas with high non-English speaking populations? Because that was my main concern, is making sure that we're still accessible.
So the data that I've seen, the only thing that I've seen in terms of non-English speaking populations being materially disadvantaged is that in San Francisco, I think there were some elections where if there were older folks that spoke Chinese as a first language and didn't speak English well, that they had trouble using the ballot in the first or second administration, early in the 2000s. Other than that, I haven't seen high rates of materially higher rates of ballot errors for folks that say you have Spanish as a first language. I'm happy to work with the People's Party to, explore that and look at the particular question, but I've never seen anything like that in anything that I've looked at.
Okay, thank you so much. You helped clear up my fears. Thank you.
And listen, I'm always accessible by email at david@rankmyvoteflorida.org, and I am very happy to answer any questions about what the existing data says in terms of how ranked choice voting is going to impact any particular group of folks. I mean, some questions are easier to answer based on how many races have been run and the data that's been gathered, but that's what we exist to do, is to answer questions. So I would encourage anybody who has questions on these kind of things to reach out to us.
David, did you say david@rankmyvote.org, your email?
Rankmyvoteflorida.org.
Oh, Florida.
All spelled out, right? Florida spelled out?
David@rankmyvoteflorida.org. And if anybody wants to sign up with us, you can sign up with us at rankmyvoteflorida.org to get into our database, and you could stay up to date on things that are going on. We're going back before the Sarasota Commission to try to convince them to keep going forward with the lawsuit that they authorized. Clearwater, they're a little turned off by what's going on in Sarasota, but they're voting tomorrow night one way or the other. And then hopefully Gainesville, we get them in 2022. But we talked to other cities. We're talking to Lake Worth Beach. We did a little bit of outreach in Key West. We have, we'll talk to anybody that wants to talk to us. That's what we do.
Is this happening in Orlando?
So David, can you tell us what it is that you would request from our People's Party members? How it is that they can assist?
The same way. So we need some things that are common to every single activist organization or political party or anything. And so I'll just start with those. If members come into the People's Party, you should encourage them to sign up with rankmyvoteflorida.org, to get onto our list. The bigger our list is, the bigger megaphone we have. And then when we have special volunteer opportunities in Sarasota or Clearwater or Gainesville or wherever it is, we can run a quick search in our database to see who's near us in order to turn people out to events. We got a lot of people to come out to the Sarasota Commission meeting, and I think that made a difference. You can sign up with us to volunteer as well if you want to be part of one of our grassroots teams. I mean, we're we're all volunteers at this point. The fact that there's a statewide barrier means that we, like a statewide legal barrier that we're clearing up, means that it's hard to attract funding. But in the meantime, we're not just sitting around. We're like getting people to volunteer with us and building like a network of people in the state who really care about this thing. So if we manage to be successful in clearing the eventual barrier up, like, we're ready to go. So I would encourage anybody that wants to volunteer with us. Follow us on social media. You know, standard stuff that's always helpful. Other than that, you know, it sounds like you've already given us your formal endorsement, which is great. We're currently rebranding and putting up a new website, and so we'd be happy to list that on our website as one of our endorser organizations. And that's all I can think of right now. I'm happy to take questions about ways you think maybe Rank My Vote Florida needs to work with the People's Party. That's what I'm here to do.
Yeah, thanks, David. And I understand you have a meeting this coming Friday, correct?
A meeting this Friday?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. So we have a standing outreach team meeting at 12 p.m. Once a month. So on Friday, and I think Elise is on that invite, on Fridays we all meet up and just kind of debrief on everything that's going on, and make plans for what we're going to do over the next month, and maybe give out volunteer assignments when people can take them on. So if anybody is interested in coming to the meeting and just meeting some other activists from around the state and learning about how they can get involved, if at all, I would say reach out to me at david@rankmyvoteflorida.org, and I can get you on the invite.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. So does anyone have any further questions for David? Victor?
Well, are we active in every major city and metropolitan in Florida, like Orlando, Tampa, Jacksonville?
No, not really. I mean, the problem is that this is only really legal in cities, and the state has put up this bogus legal barrier that we need the city of Sarasota to sue in order to break down, and we got them to do that, and then now they're sort of pumping the brakes, like. Because of that, the energy sort of deflates every once in a while, right? Or just it doesn't really accumulate critical mass. And so we have supporters that are in every city, but there just isn't a lot of action because there's not really a big goal, a big overriding goal to organize around right now. I mean, we are doing what we can and we're building our list, but a lot of our efforts, you know, successfully have been geared toward getting these three cities, you know, Sarasota, Clearwater, and Gainesville to the brink of either, you know, forcing implementation or adopting this for a referendum. We have a very heavy presence in Sarasota and Gainesville. We had a growing presence in the Clearwater area. But in Orlando, I would say that the young man who runs Florida Free and Fair Elections, his name is Loki Mole, who's running the ballot initiative. I think that he is based in Orlando, somewhere around the UCF campus. He's younger. I think he might. I think he might actually be a student at UCF.
I'm surprised you guys started in those smaller cities like Clearwater, Gainesville, and Sarasota. Why not in bigger cities compared to other bigger cities in Orlando, in Florida?
It's a question of capacity. So like when there's an opportunity that's available, we will capitalize on it. So Sarasota already adopted ranked choice voting into its charter in 2007. That's why we need to use them as an instrument to force implementation. Clearwater, as well, they came to the idea that they either wanted to do a runoff or do ranked choice voting on their own because they were very upset about the way one of their plurality elections worked out. Like somebody won with 27% of the vote, and the only thing that this gentleman cared about was not being nice to the Church of Scientology and not really about running the city affairs. And so all of the other commissioners don't like him. and they thought, how could we stop this from happening? So they started talking about it, and we swooped in and educated them and got them to, go to the next step. In Gainesville, we have a core of volunteers that includes a former mayor of the city and a former city commissioner who have connections with the city council. And so they were on the Charter Review Commission, and then when it didn't get passed as part of the Charter Review Commission, they persuaded the city commission to pass a resolution in support. Lake Worth Beach, I was reached out to by a member of the Charter Review Commission. So we're not big enough to just, target something and go after it. We just capitalize on opportunities as they come up.
Thank you for info, David.
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much, David. And we definitely will be sharing your information out to all the folks that we have on our list here in Florida to see if they can get involved. And definitely I see this as a two-way street of beneficial. Well, it's actually three-way. It benefits not only you all and us, but the people, right? And so it's very important, in my opinion, moving forward to make sure that everyone has indeed an opportunity and that our votes aren't being, manipulated by a two-party system, and that we feel the ranked choice voting eliminates.
Well, that's what it's all about. So, I mean, if they want to get involved and help and make that happen, send them our way.
Okay, will do. And thank you so much for being on the call.
Absolutely. Have a good night, everybody.
Okay, you too.
Thank you.